And welcome to the East Daily Download. My name is Mark. I'll be your tour guide on this adventure across the East. It's Tuesday. Hope your day is off to a great start so far. And boy, do we have a big show in store for you to make your day even better. What does that entail? I'm going to get to that in just a second, but first I want to make sure you know how you can find us online. We're at WNCT.com under the East Daily Download tab. Where else, you ask? How about Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag EastDailyDownload. And heck, you can email us too at download@WNCT.com. So as I mentioned before, we have a big show in store for you today. What does that mean? Well, Beaufort County Tourism, we're going to talk to them about what's going on in Beaufort County. That's exciting. Also, the Loch Ness Monster is back for the Loch Ness Monster Mystery. We're going to find out what that's all about. Recently, Josh Stein, the Attorney General for North Carolina, came right here to Studio E to talk to our Dylan Huffman about a wide array of issues affecting North Carolina and Carolinians. So we will get into that. But first, are you hungry? I'm hungry. It's a little after 7 in the morning. Of course I'm hungry. How about we eat? How about we go to King Chicken in Washington? How about we do it right now? It's Down Eats. Let's go.
Every town in eastern North Carolina has one. A restaurant that people just can't get enough of. Whether you're in line for takeout, dining in, or getting yours delivered, that place for folks in Washington is King Chicken.
King Chicken and Bill's Hot Dog is the only two things left that was here 60 years ago.
Things have changed all around, yet this place remains virtually the same. Chicken is king at King Chicken, but oh boy, is there so much more.
A lot more than chicken, yes.
We sell the best cheese biscuit in the world.
Chicken and cheeses, where we take a whole chicken breast and put it inside of one of our handmade cheese biscuits.
Collard greens and ham.
Collards are one of our staples here. It has been for years and years and years, and we've got some ladies that have passed that on from generation to generation.
And now the restaurant itself is being passed on. Zach Mixon is the new owner.
I came here as a little boy.
Mixon bought King Chicken last summer from Granville Lilly, who owned the restaurant for 30 years. Before that, his father, Stancil Lilly, started it back in 1958. Now it's Mixon's turn, who gave up a career in construction to keep the King Chicken tradition alive.
The community loves him, and the food is going to be the same and continue right on for another 60 years.
So what is King Chicken's recipe for success?
Good food, just a good product and good employees, really. I mean, King Chicken has driven this long just because of the employees. Ladies and cooks that have been here for 40 years, 30 years. I mean, that's unheard of in the restaurant business.
One of those longtime employees is a woman they call Mama.
I just love being here. I love the people around me.
Judging by the lines, the customers love being here too. Even the now former owner comes in for at least a cup of coffee every single day.
My special place to eat, and I'm still coming here. Since I've sold it, I'm still coming here every day.
Can't get away.
Can't get away, don't want to get away.
Now downloading Tech Beat Tuesday.
Infotainment systems have made it easier to find a favorite song or navigate to an address. But a new study from AAA finds the screens can be extremely distracting.
Stop sign, stop sign.
Especially for seniors.
Please say or select a navigation command.
AAA and the University of Utah tested seniors in several newer cars as they tried to use the technology.
Watch out.
Drivers will shift their attention back and forth from the driving task to the in-vehicle task. Now, if they're taking especially long glances inside the cabin, that's particularly risky.
AAA's William Horry says during testing, drivers aged 55 and older were up to 8 seconds slower than millennials when using functions like calling and navigation. That added time can be dangerous. AAA says removing your eyes from the road for just 2 seconds can double the risk of a crash. And it's not just touch screens. Voice commands
Gas station
can lead to distraction.
Calculating route to home. Please say again.
And cause frustration.
I gotta pull over.
Safety experts say pulling over is actually a good idea if the technology is getting too distracting. Many tasks like programming navigation should be done before you start driving.
Certainly there's a balance between the conveniences that the technology affords and the risks associated with it.
Please say again.
Safety advocates are encouraging car companies to change infotainment systems to make them less distracting. Diane King Hall, CBS News, New York.
Welcome back to the East Daily Download. It's Tuesday morning. Hope your day's off to a great start so far. We still have a lot to come in this episode. We are going to talk to Beaufort County Tourism to see how things are going down there. Also, the Loch Ness Monster is back in the news again, oddly enough. The Loch Ness Monster mystery. We're going to tell you the latest on that. But right now, we want to hear from North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein. He recently stopped by right here, Studio E at Eastern North Carolina CW, and talked to our own Dylan Huffman about a wide array of issues affecting North Carolina and Carolinians. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
A couple of months ago, I did a story with the Fire and Rescue, and they were telling me that in Greenville, opioid overdoses are up 150%, which is a very alarming number. When you hear numbers like that, you know, I know you guys are doing everything you can. What goes through your mind, and what is being done to hopefully bring those numbers down?
Yeah, you hear about the numbers, and in aggregate, they're alarming, and then you think about that each one of those people is a person who's got a family. Sometimes they have children, they have jobs, they're just trying to struggle and make it, and they're sick with this addiction, this chronic illness, and it's heartbreaking because the cost to them, the cost to their loved ones, the emotional toll is massive, but it has a ripple effect on everything else, whether it's the EMT who have to visit, the EDs who have to treat them, law enforcement that has to deal with the criminal aspect of it, and then the workforce. It's hard for employers to be able to hire people and count on people when those people are prisoner to their addiction. So what it does when I hear those statistics is it makes me want to redouble my efforts and the state's efforts to tackle this crisis.
Let's talk about your efforts. What is being done to tackle that crisis?
A problem this deep-seated and long in the making means that you have to have a comprehensive strategy. It's not a problem where we can flip a light switch and make this go away. It's going to take years of sustained and smart work. So prevention. We need to stop new people from becoming addicted. I drafted a bill a few years ago, the legislature passed it, governor signed it, called the STOP Act. And that has changed prescribing practices by doctors because this crisis primarily started from overprescribing by the medical profession. They were sold a bill of goods by the pharmaceutical companies that these pills, the opioid pills, were more effective at treating pain and not addictive, and it turns out neither of those are true. So we've set a limit on the number of days that pills can be prescribed. Doctors have to check a database to make sure people aren't doctor shopping. They have to e-prescribe so there's no prescription pad, forgery, and theft. And all of this is driving down the number of pills in circulation in our state. So over time, we should see an improvement. We're part of the More Powerful NC initiative, and I want to thank you all for your effort in this. We want to educate the public about this and empower them to take steps to attack the problem. And morepowerfulnc.org has a ton of information. We need to do a much better job on treatment, and I'm happy to talk about that in a minute. That's where I think we're failing the most. And then on the enforcement side, we have to keep holding drug traffickers and dealers accountable because they're bringing poison into our communities. But another part of enforcement and holding accountable is the drug companies. And I am leading a national multi-state investigation with more than 40 states, Republican and Democratic AGs together, to hold those companies accountable, and I'm hopeful we'll make progress.
The town of Washington is embracing their local artists. Art of the Pamlico in the downtown area is encouraging filmmakers in Beaufort County to submit their best work to the Marquee on Main Film Festival.
We're kind of hoping that just this little platform that we can offer to North Carolina filmmakers, will give them the opportunity and the stage to get their message out there and get their talent seen.
Filmmakers have the opportunity to win in various categories, such as short films, nature, history, horror, documentaries, and more. Winners will earn a little bit of money too. The best overall film will receive $150, while best feature-length film and best short film winners will receive $50.
Even if you aren't into the arts, just to see your downtown area begin to thrive again.
This film festival hopes to give artists the chance to showcase their work as well as get constructive criticism from judges to improve their skills in the future. In Washington, Ariana Kraft, 9 on your side.
If your business would like to be featured in our new show, The East Daily Download, contact Joe Bullard at 252-355-8520 or jbullard@WNCT.com today and watch The East Daily Download weekdays at 7 on Eastern North Carolina CW. Welcome back to the East Daily Download here on Tuesday morning. Hope your day is off to a great start. Just a quick reminder, you can find us on WNCT.com under the East Daily Download tab. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag East Daily Download. We'd love to hear from you. Now, still to come, we're going to talk to Beaufort County Tourism. Also, the Loch Ness Monster back in the news again. So we're going to go deeper into that mystery. But right now, let's take a look at Bad Boys for Life with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
In these streets, I never trusted anybody but you. I'm asking you, man. Bad boys.
One last time.
One last time.
Will Smith and Martin Lawrence reunite one last time as Miami cops Mike and Marcus in Bad Boys for Life. The first trailer just came out for the latest and seemingly last film in the action series, which rolls into theaters in January.
You need a pure racer behind the wheel of your car. That's Ken Miles.
I don't trust him an inch.
We heard he's difficult. No, Ken's a puppy dog.
Ford v Ferrari is a knockout. According to Variety, the movie's premiere at the Telluride Film Festival had a full and appreciative house, with some people shrinking in their seats and covering their eyes during the big race scenes. Could Oscar season provide a victory lap? Decide for yourself when it opens November 15th.
So your family is rich?
We're comfortable.
That is exactly what a super rich person would say.
The sequels to last year's hit Crazy Rich Asians have hit a snag. According to The Hollywood Reporter, writer Adele Lim has quit the project over pay inequality. The report says she was offered much less money for the sequels than her co-writer Peter Chiarelli because he had more feature film experience. So much for Crazy Rich. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
There's something lurking in the deep of Loch Ness. Sightings of the legendary creature, affectionately known as Nessie, date back 1,500 years.
That's what you actually saw? Yes. How big was it? Oh, as big as a bus.
The newest revelation isn't quite the mythical monster. New Zealand scientists believe it's more likely a giant eel.
Eels are 4 to 6 foot in length. It's plausible that there might be one or two that grow to extreme size.
In this latest expedition to the famous site in the Scottish Highlands, scientists gathered DNA from water samples. They compared them to known databases of plants, insects, fish, and mammals.
Using that DNA, you can then sequence it, and on the basis of the sequence, identify the types of organisms that are present in the water.
While right now an eel is the best theory, it doesn't really spark the imagination like other possible sightings over the decades, ranging from shadowy shapes in the water to giant footprints.
Just look at them, big three-toed footprint, very much like the dinosaur tracks that we find in different parts of the world.
Nessie mania is big business. People want to believe in the tales of the giant sea creature. But killjoys say centuries of sightings could be anything from swimming circus elephants to large tree branches. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
As we continue throughout the hurricane season, I want to take you out to the tropics to discuss some of the more deadly aspects of tropical storms. Although we often use wind speed and rainfall totals to define a hurricane, that is not the feature that you should be most concerned about. In fact, the most deadly part of a hurricane is the storm surge. This can be defined as the abnormal rise in seawater during a storm, or the height of the water above its normal predicted tide. Strong winds push these waters deep inland, and depending on the topography of the land and the slope of the coastline, this will directly impact the height and length of the storm surge. 3 feet of storm surge, well, that's enough to lift and float a car. A cubic yard of water, a box that measures 3 feet in all directions, weighs in at over 1,700 pounds, and that is the force of water pushing inland. A storm surge that's 6 feet is above the average person's head, so higher ground will have to be sought out. And anything higher, evacuation is your only option. because anything that's in the path of the storm surge is at risk of being swept away. Now, as we continue throughout the hurricane season, storm surge should be a characteristic that you keep your eye on. From the Weather Center, Marquise Meadham, 9 on your side.
Now downloading Living Locally.
Washington's Tourism Development Authority in Beaufort County is attributing their increase in tourism to many working parts. Right now they're seeing more shops, more places to stay, and things to do. With new restaurants and shops in Washington, the city is seeing a more than 7% increase in tourism expenditures, according to the numbers recorded in 2017 through 2018. And it's been a group effort to push out more marketing and advertising for the city to get people to visit.
We've worked really hard to collaborate with other organizations in town. So working together, we expand our marketing reach tremendously, and I think that's helped with our marketing efforts and really bringing people in.
Come September, the city is launching a new reoccurring music event, Alive After 5, which will be held at Caboose Park. The Tourism Development Authority is going to continue to strategize ways on how to bring people into the area and continue to attract tourism. In Washington, Ariana Kraft, 9 on your side.
So this is how it all went down. When I was a kid, my mom would always say, Kelly, you talk to everybody. It's like every day is the Kelly Clarkson show. Then the other day, I'm in the studio asking a lot of questions, and my engineer says, what is this, like the Kelly Clarkson show? Then I'm at a play date where the super cool mom says, you should totally have a show. And I'm like, shut up, but in like a nice way. And then her daughter, who's like the cutest thing ever, says, it's like there's always been a Kelly Clarkson show, but now it's on TV. And I'm like, totally.
The Kelly Clarkson Show.
A shrinking nest egg? According to a new survey, many people are not increasing their retirement savings. The Bankrate report found fewer than 1/3 of working Americans, about 29%, increased contributions, while 16% of those surveyed lowered their contributions compared to last year. Income level was the biggest factor in determining whether someone increased or lowered their contributions. According to the survey, the highest earners who made $75,000 a year or more were twice as likely than the lowest income households to increase contributions this year. On the flip side, the lowest earners were more than 4 times as likely than the highest earners to be saving less this year. Age also played a role, with older millennials between the ages of 30 and 38 being the most likely to increase their retirement saving, while workers 65 or older had the tendency to decrease their contributions. So why are people saving less? Nearly 1 in 4 people surveyed said they felt comfortable with the amount they were putting away. Another reason, stagnant or decreasing income, while others said they were focusing on other financial priorities. For Consumer Watch, I'm Meredith Wood.
Roanoke Electric is restoring the power in stages throughout the night, and the cooling center will be open as long as they need to the public.
Aboard Camp Lejeune, Marines wear many hats, no matter whether it's on land or on sea. They continue to build their skills through training, ready to be called into action.
The state of Alabama has just passed a near-all ban on abortion. I spoke to several people here in Greenville about could or should something like that happen in North Carolina.
For more of these stories, visit us on our website at WNCT.com.
So this is interesting. It's International Patient Safety Day is a campaign for all stakeholders in the healthcare system to work together to improve patient safety. So that's good for all of us who are patients at doctors' offices and hospitals. They're working to improve our safety, so that's always a positive. Okay, we are working for an even better show tomorrow. Today was amazing. Tomorrow is going to be amazing. So stay tuned for Wednesday's show coming up in about 23 and a half hours actually. And you can go online, WNCT.com, at any point in time to watch this episode or any episode of the East Daily Download under the East Daily Download tab. We hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
People know that there are lyrics to Entertainment Tonight. Hey, here we go!
So you've had a very bad day, there's Entertainment Tonight.
Oh, yes, all right!
Wednesday, when we hit the road for the next edition of the East Daily Download, 10 p.m. anchor Angie Casada will join us for the new Q&A with AQ. We'll introduce you to a toy collector who loves Pez dispensers. North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein joins us for part 2 of our 4-part interview. And WNCT-9 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jerry Jackson introduces us to this week's weather kit. So join us on Wednesday for an all-new The East Daily Download on Eastern North Carolina CW.